Welcome to Kansas Ag Report. I'm Ken Rogers. This week we head out to Garden City, a big event taking place, Beef Empire Days. We'll talk with Brian Price, who is on the board of directors and has been for a number of years, about Beef Empire Days. We'll learn about the history. Yes, everything is up and running this year, and some of those events that you can participate in. We'll also have features from Kansas Corn, Kansas Wheat, and the Kansas Farm Bureau, plus our weekly update from the Kansas Livestock Association and market information from Pinion, a division of K-Coe Isom. Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Kansas Farm Bureau, a grassroots ag organization representing the state's farm and ranch families since 1919, KFB.org. And the Kansas Wheat Commission, lending in the adoption of profitable innovations from wheat, online at kswheat.com. We're in Garden City, and one of the biggest events in the region is going on right now. That's Beef Empire Days, and talking with us is Brian Price, who is on the board of Beef Empire Days. Also, if you can see behind us, you know where we are. We're at the Brookover Feed Yard. Talk about probably the biggest question. I mean, are things back to normal with Beef Empire Days this year?
Yeah, we hope. We kind of had a zero last year, but this year we're back to going, and we're going to try and handle all the events that they've had in the past. We may be a little disorganized, but bear with us. We'll get things done for everybody, and hope the event goes off real good. We had kind of a short notice that we could go, and so everybody's working really hard on the committee to try and get things ready for the week of June.
All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the history of Beef Empire Days. Many folks all over the state have been a part of it, either participated in it or had some of the great beef and just the celebration that's going on. And we'll also talk about some of those events, what's going to be going on in the second big weekend of Beef Empire Days. So stay with us. We'll have more coming up. The Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by Kansas Grain Sorghum, growers working together. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. grassandgrain.com. And agview.net, serving the Beef Belt and Western Corn Belt with reliable and relevant agriculture information. agview.net.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, but how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and LibertyLink that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
What if U.S. soybean meal were more than a commodity? If seed companies and the soybean checkoff built a better variety? That future is here. The time is now. To meet end-user demands, the soybean checkoff is investing in the compositional quality of soybeans, including meal. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
Beef Empire Days here in Garden City is underway, and joining us is Brian Price, who is for Brookover Feed Yard, but also a board of director of Beef Empire Days. So, Brian, as we talk about things are back at it this year, tell us some history. I mean, this is an event that's been going on for a long time.
Yeah, this will be the 53rd year. It started in 1969, and it was a group of cattlemen that got together and a packing plant people at the time that decided that we needed to promote the beef and provide some education for producers and to give back to the community that supports our industry and all of Southwest Kansas.
Well, let's talk about that. And I can remember, for years there have been all kinds of shows, been carcass shows. There has been opportunities to educate maybe consumers that want to know maybe a little bit more of what this whole thing means. I mean, you know, where this feed yard is almost being encompassed by town, but you're still here. And so talk about that relationship with the beef industry and Garden City.
Well, the beef industry has grown ever since, just like the event has grown. And the 70s were kind of the time that it kicked off cattle feeding in western Kansas, and it's become a big part of the economy, both with the packing plants and the trucking and all the things that go along with it. So we're trying to put emphasis on that, help people understand that we produce safe, healthy products for the consumers, and we're really accepted by the community. This feed yard was 5 miles from town when Mr. Brookover started it in 1951, and now they're right on our heels. So,
talk about this event from a standpoint of it's really year-round planning. I mean, once this event gets over for 2021, discussions will be made for 2022. And it seems like every year that discussion is how to make it a little better.
Yeah, that's right. Right, you know, the next year is just trying to get back to where we were and get the community and the people involved and get the participation back up. Get the feed yards to send plenty of cattle for the live show, and get them to come to the events that we have in the evenings and the symposium and things like that.
All right, so we're going to take a break. We're going to talk about some of those events as the second week of Beef Empire Days underway here in Garden City, so stay with us. Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by the Kansas Livestock Association, supporting members' business interests and meeting consumer demands. KLA.org. Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. And Kansas Corn, building the future at kansascorn.com.
What if U.S. soybean meal were more than a commodity? If seed companies and the soybean checkoff built a better variety? That future is here. The time is now. To meet end-user demands, the soybean checkoff is investing in the compositional quality of soybeans, including meal. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, but how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and LibertyLink that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
And we're in Garden City. Beef Empire Days is underway. Brian Price, member of the board of directors, is joining us. And Brian, we've talked about the history. We've talked about yes, it's a go. But now let's talk about the second big week of Beef Empire Days. What's going to be going on? What can people expect?
Okay, starting off on Tuesday at 9 o'clock in the morning is the main event, which is the beef steer and heifer show. Local feed yards bring animals to be judged by an independent person, and then they'll be placed. And on Friday of that week, the same week, they'll have a carcass show, and that will determine the winners and the awards and all those things will be given out. So.
Also an opportunity, you want to see kind of your city cousins come out from the region, and it's I guess, for lack of a better term, it's kind of a big party as well.
Well, we hope it is kind of a social thing for people to come. We have the cattle working contest that week. We have the awards banquet. We have the sponsors reception for all the people we run off of sponsors and their donations to keep the event going. And then on Saturday we have Chuck Wagons in the Park, which is a community feed, the beef battalion that does a lot of cooking for our soldiers as they leave out for different parts of the world and come back in. They're gonna cook the steaks and everything for everybody. And then on Sunday there's also an event called the Cattle Crawl, where we go around and sample menus of the different restaurants around in town that cook beef and serve for everybody.
Well, it sounds like it's another great event, and before we let you go, we've got to talk about folks like you and others that volunteer their time to serve on the board. As we said earlier, I mean, this is a job that everybody has their thing to do and need to get it taken care of, but it takes a large group to pull this off.
Yeah, we have a pretty good board of directors. They all work hard to take on different areas of the event. We got a lot of young guys on this time around, and so getting them, we kind of lost some time last year with getting them trained, but we'll get them trained this year, and we'll get the events figured out and get it so the community can enjoy it.
Folks just go down to the fairgrounds and they'll find something for them.
Yeah, the fairgrounds, the park, Stevens Park there in the middle of the town. They'll have a big parade on Saturday, and then the chuck wagons at the zoo. So there's plenty of things to do for 2 or 3 days there, one right after another.
And I would guess Mother Nature's going to cooperate, won't she?
We sure hope so. But the rain's nice.
Yeah, never going to complain.
Not out here where you don't.
All right, Brian, we appreciate it. Good luck with the rest of Beef Empire Days, and looking forward to hearing all the successes. Thanks.
Thank you.
Brian Price, who is a member of the board of directors of Beef Empire Days, also with Brookover Feed Yard, has joined us. Stay with us. We'll have more coming up.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
Premier Farm and Home has what you need to make your lawn the best in the neighborhood.
Hi, I'm Ken. We choose Premier Farm and Home for the professional look that we do ourselves.
Feel free to stop in. You can also visit our website at heycow.com.
Hi, my name is Emily Cope and I'm with Kansas Corn and here to give an update on our collegiate program. This past weekend we had our second session of Collegiate Academy where the students got to travel to Northwest Kansas and learn about the agriculture and corn industry out there. We had a great full weekend. We first stopped at Surefire Ag Systems where the students really got to learn about the technology side of things and technology in agriculture, and then afterwards we had a Zoom meeting actually with the Mexican consulate, which was great, discussing trade and the relationships between Kansas and Mexico then. And then the next day we got to visit Ag Sun, which is a corn flaking facility, in the morning, and then traveled to Northwest Kansas Technical College. After that, we had a great visit at McCarty Family Farms, where the students got to learn about the dairy industry, and especially out in Northwest Kansas. And then wrapped up the day at our KCGA president's farm, Brent Rogers, where they got to learn about production and water uses out in Kansas. So it was a full weekend of great learning opportunities for our students, and we're looking forward to wrapping up the program this summer.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
Commodity transportation hit some bumps in May with the closure of the Interstate 40 bridge in Memphis, which sits over top the Mississippi River. On May 11th, inspectors found an issue with the structural integrity of the bridge and closed it for both road traffic and barge traffic on the river. In a peak time for commodity shipments, 62 vessels with a total of 1,058 barges were backed up, causing delays for many agricultural products. Issues were resolved and traffic resumed May 14th. Any holdup in barge traffic flow compromises U.S. agriculture's ability to deliver on worldwide demand for our product and can impact profitability for farmers when rates of other forms of transportation increase to handle the load. This situation reiterates the importance of solid infrastructure across the country. In other transportation news, the pending acquisition of the Kansas City Southern Railway Company is heating up as Canadian National and Canadian Pacific compete to acquire the company. Initially in March, Canadian Pacific won the bid before KC Southern ultimately chose a higher bid from Canadian National. The merger creates the first rail network connecting the U.S., Mexico, and Canada. The Soy Transportation Coalition monitors transportation situations across the country and internationally to determine how those situations impact soybean farmers. To keep up with STC news, check out their website at soytransportation.org and subscribe to their newsletter.
What if sustainability were synonymous with U.S. soy? If energy efficiency, water quality, and soil health help define U.S. soy's value, that future is here, the time is now. To meet end-user demands, the Soybean Checkoff is committing to sustainability that's achievable, worthwhile, and enduring. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
The aroma of freshly baked bread wafting through the room. The burst of flavor from an unexpected ingredient. The happy chatter of attendees as they taste samples. While these hands-on experiences are hard to replicate, don't miss out on this year's National Festival of Breads just because it's virtual. Tune in on June 9th at 3 p.m. to hear the stories behind the finalists' winning recipes, learn some new baking tips, and watch the crowning of America's next top bread baker. The 7th National Festival of Breads is sponsored by Red Star Yeast, King Arthur Baking Company, and Kansas Wheat. Recipes submitted by 3 adults and 2 youth finalists, representing states from coast to coast, were hand-picked to be featured during this year's virtual festival. Who will win the Best of Breads champion? And who were voted as the People's Choice Award winners? The nominees are Anna Barth from Long Beach, California, with her savory Thai peanut sauce rolls. Barbara Easterbrook from Appleton, Wisconsin, with her hearty wild rice and tart cherry bread. Susan Simpson from Harrington, Delaware, with her entry apricot raisin babka ring. Maddie McKee from Wamego, Kansas, with blueberry blossom tree braids. And Maggie Schlichter from Clay Center, Kansas, with strawberry lemonade swirls. Tune in at 3 p.m. on June 9th at facebook.com/National Festival of Breads to see if your favorite wins a prize. For notifications on when the premiere is going live, like the National Festival of Breads Facebook page or sign up for our newsletter at nationalfestivalofbreads.com.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
Kansas is one of the fastest growing dairy regions in the United States, and the Kansas Department of Agriculture will be celebrating our hardworking dairies throughout the month of June, which is Kansas Dairy Month. The Kansas dairy industry is a valued part of Kansas agriculture. The industry grew in 2020, increasing milk production by more than 5% to a total of 3.8 billion pounds of milk produced annually by 173,000 dairy cows at a value of over $668 million. But behind these numbers are more than 220 family-run dairy farms owned by Kansas dairy farmers who are valued and influential members of their communities. The growth of the dairy industry means economic gains for local communities and the state of Kansas, and more wholesome, safe, nutritious dairy products for families in Kansas and across the region. Kansas dairies are continuing to look for ways to be more efficient and progressive as dairy farmers are making investments, including innovative technologies like robotic rotary milking systems, to enhance the industry in the state. Adding value to the milk produced in Kansas has been a key component to advancing the state's dairy industry, from the state-of-the-art milk powder plant that opened in 2017 to this spring's announcement of the new Hilmar cheese plant. Kansas dairies and processors have worked hard to become efficient, and they take pride in the work they do. Dairy farmers are committed to the health, comfort, and well-being of their cows, and to providing high-quality dairy products, which are an important part of a nutritious diet. So join us and enjoy Kansas milk, cheese, yogurt, and ice cream as we celebrate the important contributions of the Kansas dairy industry during Kansas Dairy Month this June.
We're really trying to engage young people across the state and unify them and give them a unified voice. Because as you know, it's hard to get off that farm sometimes. So this gives them an opportunity to get off the farm, have that education piece, have that networking piece. They can learn about what's going on in the political system right now. And it's just, quite frankly, it's fun. It's a great way for us to get involved and an opportunity for them to get involved in Kansas Farm Bureau.
NCBA and 40 other national and regional organizations sent a letter to U.S. House and Senate leadership last week expressing significant concerns about legislative proposals that would jeopardize the future of family-owned farms and ranches. The group specifically urged lawmakers not to alter or eliminate long-standing tax code provisions that are fundamental to the financial health of production agriculture and the businesses that supply its inputs, transport its products, and market its commodities. 3 critically important tax provisions were highlighted in the letter, including stepped-up basis, like-kind exchanges, and the Section 199A business income deduction. Assets in agriculture typically are held by one owner for several decades, so resetting the basis on the value of the land, buildings, and livestock on the date of the owner's death under stepped-up basis is important for surviving members and business partners to ensure the future financial stability of the operation. The like-kind exchange provisions allow businesses to buy and sell like assets without tax consequences, thus helping farmers and ranchers who are typically land-rich and cash-poor maintain cash flow and reinvest in their business. Additionally, to maintain a reasonable level of taxation for pass-through businesses like farms and ranches, it is critical to preserve the Section 199A business income deduction.
Kansas Corn reminds you that E15 fuel is the right choice for every kind of driver. For the car enthusiast, E15 has higher octane. For the thrifty driver, E15 is priced lower than regular unleaded. For the nature lover, E15 provides cleaner air. For the shopper who buys local, E15 has more ethanol from our Kansas corn farms. Choose E15 for a higher octane, lower price, cleaner American fuel. Message from the Kansas Corn Commission. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Good morning. I'm Darren Van Vactor with Pinion, division of K-Coe Isom. Volatility. The ag markets are full of it, and it isn't going away, at least for now, as we don't know a lot about this year's crop. What we do know is our ending stocks remain tight compared to previous years. The majority of the U.S. corn is planted, and beans are ahead of historical pace. Demand is good. Outside of the U.S., Brazilian corn production was reduced again, so last week's rains may have come a little too late for some of its regions. That being said, there are a lot of cards yet to be flipped. The next 60 days will give us some clarity as we see the estimates via the June and July supply and demand reports, the planted acreage report, quarterly stocks report, corn pollination, and the biggest factor, Mother Nature. Until then, it seems likely we'll slosh around, trading headlines and overdoing it at times, like last week's cancellations that didn't happen, or this week's JBS cybersecurity news in the livestock market. Volatile markets aren't the easiest to navigate. Right now we have good prices, but are uncertain about production. Question is, when we know production, will price still be there? There are ways to take risk off the table and stay in the game. If you'd like to discuss, give us a call. 888-452-8751. I'm Darren Van Vactor. Be safe and have a great week.
Well, that's our show this week. Be social with us online at kansasagreport.net or on our social media channels. Next week, we're scheduled to talk with Dr. Roger McCohen, another Ag in the Courtroom in our ongoing series. And in 2 weeks, we're scheduled to talk with former Ag Secretary and former Kansas Congressman Dan Glickman. I'm Ken Rogers. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
There's so many people that come here across the state, being able to meet all sorts of people from seeing what their different backgrounds and the things that they grow and the workshops that they have here to kind of see what other people are thinking and people in their expertise, you know, that you can take back home and maybe implement or at least investigate more if it's something you want to do.
Premier Farm and Home has what you need to make your lawn the best in the neighborhood.
Hi, I'm Ken. We choose Premier Farm and Home for the professional look that we do ourselves.
Feel free to stop in. You can also visit our website at heycow.com.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
Are you looking for Medicare supplement insurance plans? Now is a good time to look at your options with Kansas Farm Bureau Health Plans. A Medicare supplement insurance plan can help cover certain out-of-pocket expenses Medicare doesn't cover. Things like deductibles, co-insurance, and certain limitations that can be costly in the event of an accident or illness. With Kansas Farm Bureau Health Plans, you have options to Medicare supplement insurance plans with 4 levels of affordable coverage and service from an organization known for its commitment serving Kansans. We encourage you to compare our rates. For more information and to get a quote, contact a Farm Bureau Financial Services agent near you or visit kfbhealthplans.com. Medicare supplements insured by Members Health Insurance Company, Columbia, Tennessee. Not connected with or endorsed by the U.S. or state government.